Match number 35 of the Tata IPL 2025. And for the first time in this season, we're coming to a live stream. And welcome to the show, everyone who are tuning in. I have Orko with me. Orko is the Delhi Capitals versus the Gujarat Titans at the iconic Narendra Modi Stadium. Both the teams are coming from different circumstances. If you talk about GT, 1 week ago they played their last game. They had a huge gap in terms of break, you can say. Last Saturday they lost to the Lucknow Super Giants at the Ekana Stadium. That was also an afternoon game. And Delhi Capitals coming from a thrilling super over. Talk us through both the games before we move on to this game.
Well, it'll be a wonderful game, firstly, because these are two teams that have been doing very well. They have, had their moments with consistent performances. They are both coming, in circumstances where they have won more often than they have lost. So certainly it'll be a very interesting game to sum it up as a neutral person who would watch this game. And both teams have similar strengths. They have a good top order. I would say Delhi have a little bit stronger middle order. But again, the strengths are pretty similar. They have good bunch of spinners. Gujarat has wonderful set of spinners. Rashid Khan is also coming back in form, and of course Delhi Capitals doing their thing. And what a comeback for Mitchell Stark out of nowhere, to bowl such a last over and then the super over to follow up. So certainly these are teams that are winning their moments at crucial times and grabbing the points whenever needed. So these are the kind of matches you would want when the weekend sets in.
Absolutely, these are kind because especially you and me, we both have especially discussed about how 160, 170 kind of games are more thrilling than the ones which are going past 230. But you said about Rashid Khan coming back to form in the last couple of days games for the Punjab Kings. We are seeing Yuzvendra Chahal also coming back to forms. Veterans are now coming back as the season progresses. Are we going to see more big names coming back into form? Somebody like a Mohammad Shami.
Definitely, and that's what one would hope. And especially when they are bowlers, you would want bowlers to do well. As we have previously stated, that this game was becoming too batting friendly. But of course, I know that I have been on the losing side as a KKR fan to see such kind of a collapse. But even if I was a neutral on that day, to see such kind of a low score being defended would have obviously made me very happy. So you do need bowlers like Shami, Rashid Khan to step up. If you look at a KKR perspective, maybe a Russell, because he's also been short of runs and wickets, I would be happy if he gets his mojo back as well, because these are the ones who set the league alight. I mean, they are the ones who set the league on fire in the past. They would want these veterans to do well, and Rashid Khan would be no different.
Absolutely, he won't be any different for the Delhi Capitals. They have, I've said this before, they have one of the best bowling attack in the tournament so far. But their specialist Mohit Sharma was the one who was always going to bowl in the death. But they went for Mitchell Stark, who was getting the reverse swing as well with the old ball. He bowled the final over of the 20-over contest and also bowled the all-important super over. How much are you missing him?
Well, certainly. I mean, it's pretty sad. And I even came across Stark when he was in Vizag. And I think I shared it with you as well when I told him that we missed you in KKR. And he said, you couldn't get me back in the auction. So I did feel a sense of disappointment in him. But again, he's in a new franchise. That's how the IPL works. No team usually keeps you for a very long time unless you're someone like a Russell or a Narayan. You always have to switch franchises no matter what your stature or reputation is. And that's what happened with Stark. And yet again, whenever KKR lets go a player, you do see them perform well when they leave a team. People like Gill, Kuldeep, and now Stark, Shreyas, and all also coming into the mix. It feels sad at one point of time that they're not wearing our colors, but at the same time, it feels happy that they're doing well. Keeping
True.
the bandwagon going forward. So it's pretty happy to see him succeed for another franchise.
Absolutely, that is rightly said. But Gujarat Titans, after a long time, are taking the field. Let's take a look at the head-to-head between GT and DC in terms of the last five fixtures. In terms of head-to-head between both the teams, the Titans are coming from a hat trick of defeats, and they're going to face it's more or less a top of the table clash because both the teams are very successful this season, more or less have already one foot into the playoffs as well, especially the Delhi Capitals. Your thoughts on this game? How much will it be important for the spinners because it's an afternoon game? We have quality spinners in both the teams.
Definitely. I mean, these are the kind of matches you would want to watch, especially during times when there will not be too much of dew prevalent. So certainly a
Definitely.
team which has spinners like Kuldeep, Axar, Vipraj doing pretty well. They even have Stubbs if they want to. I feel that Stubbs might have a role in this game because Gujarat have a bunch of left-handers. Rutherford. Then they have Tewatia, and even at the top they have Sai Sudarshan. So I think that Stubbs would be having a big role. And on the other side, even Gujarat have a bunch of wonderful spinners. They have Sundar. They have Sai Kishore, who is doing very well. Rashid Khan is also in the mix. So certainly, this will be the kind of battle you would want to watch out if you are someone who likes to see spinners operate, and they will be very crucial in deciding the game.
Absolutely, because both the teams, if you add Stubbs as well, I think three apiece. Even your Vipraj Nigam was doing wonderfully for the Delhi Capitals as well. Head to head is done and dusted. What about the pitch report and also the numbers at the Narendra Modi Stadium this season? Let's take a look at them. Firstly, Akku, if you talk about this season, around 200 has been breached a couple of times at the Narendra Modi Stadium. Though you can argue and say that both of them have been evening games. While against the Mumbai Indians, it was closer to 200. It was 196 that was posted in the first innings total. So we can say that the Narendra Modi Stadium, the surface is producing a batting friendly one. 38 matches have been played out here. 20 times the team batting second have gone on to win the game. It's an afternoon game. It's a different ball game altogether. Your thoughts on what the team should do, because expecting scorching heat as well. And what would you do if you're winning the toss? Bat first.
Well, I think bat first would be a good option. I mean, these are the circumstances where you would see, that template changing from, an IPL where we usually see teams trying to chase. I think if you don't have anything like you want to stick to your strengths, I think any team, if they look at the conditions, at the pitch, at the weather, would want to bat first. And it'll also be comforting for the players, to bat first in the heat and, try to field it out when the heat is a little bit down. And we do know that Ahmedabad is a city which has pretty scorching temperatures at this point of time. So I think certainly the teams should look to bat first. And again, these are two teams that win movements. They don't really have a problem doing anything they are told to do. But again, I think that if you're giving the captain's hat, anyone would want to bat first.
Absolutely. Anybody would want to bat first. Rightly mentioned by Rohan as well, who's an expert in understanding conditions as well. Spinners will be key, as we rightly pointed out. But you see about both the teams, who do you think will be more happy to defend a score something around 170 odd, if it's something which we can consider as a below par? Delhi Capitals, Gujarat Titans both have very strong bowling attack, and both have Indian core bowling attack. If you keep aside Stark, it's more or less dominated by Indian bowlers for Delhi. And Gujarat Titans have Indian bowlers in their side if you remove Rashid Khan. Your thoughts on which team would be happy to defend a total around 170, 175 if they post?
Well, I think it'll be Delhi. I mean, if you look at the kind of performances they have given recently, and I think they have a better death bowling core. If you look at, Mohit is a very good death bowler. Stark is in the form of his life. Mukesh can get going with his Yorkers. And just imagine if they somehow get Natarajan in the mix. I mean, he's not available, I'm hearing, because of fitness issues or whatever. But if he gets into the mix, then you can't perhaps think of a team that will have a better bowling attack than Delhi Capitals. So I think they will be the ones who will be most sorted defend scores like these with the kind of form each of the bowlers at the current moment have.
Absolutely, you rightly mentioned about Natarajan as well. Wow, what a squad the Delhi Capitals have made, and they deserve to be at the top of the points table. Fair enough. So we are done and dusted with the pitch report and the conditions. Time to put Orko into the hot seat, as we all know the strategic timeout section coming up. Orko, three questions rather this time around in the live stream. You have 60 seconds to answer them. Here it is. Let's begin with kickstarting the questions. First one, Sai consistent Sudarshan or KL Rahul? Who do you think will score more runs today?
Well, that's a very tough question. I mean, these are two very similar players. Maybe KL Rahul. I would hope that KL Rahul scores the more runs this time.
Okay. Which left arm spinner do you think will pick more wickets? R. Sai Kishore or Kuldeep Yadav?
I think Kuldeep, because he's a wrist spinner, gives the ball a bit more loop. He's a bigger wicket taking threat. So I think Kuldeep.
Okay, this is an interesting one. Which impact, rather you can say whether it's an impact player or whether you can say it's a finisher. Which finisher do you think will have a bigger impact lower down the other with the bat? Ashutosh Sharma or Rahul Tewatia?
Again, recency. I mean, he's got more game time, so I would perhaps prefer Ashutosh over Tewatia this time around.
Okay, fair enough. You've answered the questions in the frame as well as always. Orko does that. Thanks a lot, Orko. Three questions have been done and dusted. You answered inside the time frame. We'll see at the end of the game how many he gets correct because it's going to be interesting. He said Ashutosh Sharma, but talk us through about you said about Kuldeep Yadav over Sai Kishore, but talk us through the variations Sai Kishore has brought up nowadays with the carom ball innovation.
Definitely. I mean, it's coming out well from his arms, from his hands, and he's pretty happy about it. Even in the press conference, he was very vocal about it after the game that he has tried a few variations and they're going well. It's good to fox such quality players which are in display in the IPL. So definitely to have such kind of skills in your armory would actually help you in a game that is already dominated by batters. And Sai Kishore, with the kind of talent he always had, he's just trying to increase the skills that he had, and it will certainly help him in the game looking forward.
True that, absolutely 100% agreed with that. In terms of this, okay, fair enough. Let's take a look into the players. Watch out for. This is what I've gone with in terms of the players to watch out for. Shubman Gill, Sai Sudarshan, and R. Sai Kishore are my three players for the Gujarat Titans. For the Delhi Capitals, I've gone with Tristan Stubbs, KL Rahul, and Kuldeep Yadav. Your thoughts on that? Any other choices from your end?
Definitely, these are crucial players. I mean, Sai Sudarshan is someone who is a very bankable player. Shubman Gill in Ahmedabad, you can't think of a team without him. He's very good in this particular track. Sai Kishore, as you again rightly said, would have a big role. And with Delhi having a lot of right-handers and not too many left-handers, maybe Porel and Axar Patel is all that you can think of. So Sai Kishore would have a role. I think even Rashid Khan would have a very crucial role because wrist spinners are the bigger wicket-taking threat, and because it's a day game, I think Rashid Khan would also have a big role, and I have seen him perform well in day games. So I think Rashid Khan is another name we can't write off, apart from the fact that he can blitz past an opposition in the
And
lower
slowly
overs if
and
he gets
steadily
a chance
setting the
to bat.
confidence as well, Orko, isn't it?
Definitely, as we previously talked about veterans doing well, I think this could just be the game Rashid Khan gets going. And as I previously stated, he's someone who does well in the day game, so this could be just that game. Talking about Delhi Capitals, I think Kuldeep is in the form of his life, the most economical bowler of the tournament. He will have a big role to play, especially to neutralize the top three threat which Gujarat has. If people like Stark can't get through the top order, you would need Kuldeep to become that wicket taker, that partnership breaker, player for them. And Rahul, again, a very bankable player. He's someone you need in the middle order, or even if there's a collapse, just a stabilizer any team would love to have. Stubbs, a perfect finisher, as Delhi already possess a plethora of such finishers. They have Ashutosh, they have Vipraj, they have Axar, and to have someone like Stubbs in the mix, certainly. Even KL Rahul rates Stubbs very highly and calls him like someone to be the next big thing in cricket. So Delhi do have a plethora of wonderful talents, and perhaps all bases covered in total. So you can just keep on naming any number of players in that team. Maybe Mitchell Stark. He's someone who has a wonderful record in Ahmedabad, always gets 2, 3 wickets, even the World Cup final, which we could sadly remember. So I think Mitchell Stark is someone also whom you could mention in this list.
I was just heading towards that when you were discussing about KL Rahul, that really turned things around at this venue in 2023 in the final. He did not have a good go, but things turned out pretty well for him in the Champions Trophy for India. Your thoughts on what KL Rahul versus spin could be in the middle overs?
Well, definitely. I mean, as I previously stated, he is that stabilizer, and if he stays for a longer time, he also plays the role of the finisher, and he's the kind of wall that you need in that middle order for the others to come and bat around him. And if he takes up the aggressive role, then we know the kind of flamboyance, the kind of multifaceted abilities that he had. And I have always been a strong fan of KL Rahul. I've always liked him in any format that he has played. Always wanted him in KKR as well. That didn't happen. We did bid for him till
Wow.
10, 11 crore, but sadly we had other priorities. But again, he's a player any team would love to have. He's a complete team man. He can do anything for you. He can
Very
open. He
calm
can
head, I
finish
must say.
games. Absolutely, he's a calm head, and he's perhaps in the best frame of mind he would love to be. And maybe we are in to see the best version of KL Rahul in this tournament.
100%, it could be rightly mentioned about KL Rahul, and such a lovely inclusion he has been. He's been given the gloves as well, just to have that leadership group into the table as well for Akshar Patel. Fair enough. Let's take a look into the top three battles I've gone with. Battle number one, I think this is very, very crucial. Probably we can say that this is the game that probably we can see the top three of Gujarat Titans faltering. Sai Sudarshan versus Mitchell Stark is my battle number one. Kuldeep Yadav versus Josh the Boss is my battle number two. And I've gone with Raquel Rahul versus R. Sai Kishore as my battle number three. Any other battle in your mind?
Well, not really. I mean, these are the battles that would be crucial for both teams. And I think the one that I'll be most looking forward to would be Joss versus Kuldeep, because Kuldeep bowls that entice England, that loopy, spinners
Correct.
that you would
Exactly.
want. And Butler likes to, go onto the front foot, sometimes occasionally step and try to step out and hit them for six straight down the ground. So I think those are the kind of battles anyone would enjoy in a league as big as the IPL. And, Butler is the one who acts as the aggressor in the middle order whenever he comes in at number three. So I think Butler versus Kuldeep would be the one which will decide the game for me.
100%. But how interesting is it nowadays, this season around, that at Ahmedabad we're not discussing about Shubman Gill performing, who is an happy hunting ground. We're rather moving on to his opening partner, Sai Sudarshan, who's scoring at a consistent basis.
Certainly. I mean, Gill has certainly switched gears and he has also changed his role a bit. Earlier, he was the one who used to play the stabilizer, the accumulator, and maybe made the answers back around him. But he has now decided to be the aggressor. He has had better strike rates than before. So he's going after the bowling and perhaps falling early at times, not really staying for too long. But he has had his impact, and maybe he's just one big innings away from getting back to the groove which we know about Shubman Gill and Sai Kishore. I mean, Sai Sudarshan. I'm sorry. Sai Sudarshan has been such a bankable player. He's like a run machine, literally, with the kind of starts he gets and the way he continues with the starts which he has. He's not someone who settles for a mere 30 or 40, converts it into a 60 or 70, no matter who the opposition is, doesn't really show any visible weakness. So
Correct.
it's nice to see such kind of players do well. And already with the Indian top order, if you look at the national team setup, having so many worthy competitors and some people like Sai Sudarshan and Priyank Sharia from Punjab also making enough inroads would obviously make it a very interesting affair.
Absolutely. Very, very good, promising players you have mentioned recently. Fair enough. The battles have been done and dusted. Time to move on to the predicted playing 11, starting with the Gujarat Titans. Set 11, I don't see any changes to be honest, but there's only one thing, as it's a day game. Would you be tempted to have Washington Sundar into the mix as an impact player? Or would you go for Kulwant Kejrolia, who played the previous game? Or do you want to go for the veteran Ishan Sharma? Thoughts on your end?
Well, I think Washington Sundar, I mean, he's someone who can give you a lot of input with the bat apart from the ball as well. He's, I think, someone you would look at because Delhi do have two left-handers, at the top they have Porel, so Sundar can ball in the power play. If they do decide to look at Sundar, then he can be useful over there. In the middle order, there's Axar, and Axar is the aggressor of the team. He goes after the bowling whenever he comes in. That's the kind of role he even plays for India. So if you have a very defensive spinner like Sundar, he might perhaps get that price scalp of Axar in the middle order. So I think Sundar would be the right addition as an impact there in this game.
Okay, fair enough. So that is what I think. Washington Sundar will might play a key role according to you. You can have Ishan Sharma and Kulwant Kejuria as the seamers as well, rightly mentioned. Let's take a look at the predicted playing 11 of the Delhi Capitals. This is interesting, and I'm tempting towards this. Can we see a change at the top of the order? If Faf Duplessis is fit, can we see Jake Fraser McGurk making way for the veteran?
Well, they have a lot of trust on Jake Fraser McGurk, so I think they would continue to back him. But if Faf is available, then certainly he comes back into the mix. And he have given a lot of chances to Jake Fraser McGurk, so certainly they need to move on from him at some point of time. Whether it's Faf or whether they look at someone like Donovan Ferreira in the mix, then
Correct.
I think there would be a stronger unit as we have previously discussed. And with Karun Nair doing pretty well, KL Rahul also a very experienced opener. I think they can try to look beyond Jake Fraser McGurk, and given the kind of dimensions Ahmedabad has, I don't think that JFM would really have a good time if he gets the chance. But I'm not pretty sure about Fab's fitness just yet. But if they don't want to change the template as they're already winning, maybe because they're winning, they're not looking at this weakness that they have in the form of GFM. But if they want to stick to it and continue backing him, then maybe JFM would get another go.
Is this the only reason, as you rightly mentioned, as they are winning, can they want? Do they want to give JFM a couple of more goals? If the tables would have been turned and they would have been in the bottom half of the table, they would have dropped JFM way before. But what if they have Karun Nair and Abhishek opening, and then you have somebody like some other person at the number three, K. Rahul maybe at number three, and slot in Donovan Ferreira in the middle order? Can they do that, or do you think JFM will be backed if Faf is unfit?
Definitely. I mean, that's what I would look to do because Donovan adds a lot of impact to the lower middle order, and with the kind of plethora of finishes that they already have, to add someone like him who is a game changer, who's also been in form, would be an asset for the team. I think they're waiting to unleash him, but they sadly haven't done that because of the reputation of JFM and of course Faf also in the mix. Unless he comes back, I think they would stick to JFM. But if they change the template, I think that would only help the team.
Absolutely, they have to make good decisions, and I think this, in terms of making impact player decisions, I think RCB did a blunder yesterday. Was it the right choice of bringing in Manoj Bhandage at that stage? Because you had somebody like a Swapnil Singh who could have been crucial with the ball as well. He was the trump card last season around for the Royal Challengers Bengaluru.
Yeah, of course, that's a fair point. I mean, Swapnil does add a lot of value with the ball, but again, I think they didn't have the kind of runs they would need. I mean, scoring 95, 96 is never going to be enough to defend in 14 overs. That to in Chinnaswamy. I know that the pitch has been yeah, the pitch has been a bit tacky. Of course, it's assisting the bowlers. I think they showed a lot of heart. They showed a lot of fight. Especially the spell from Hazelwood was a wonderful one. The kind of wickets he got in crucial moments. They were in the game. I think this is a different RCB than what we have seen over the years. They have been giving fights even when they have been on the losing side. It's sad that they're losing at home, but there will be moments when they'll start winning at home as well. A formidable team, of course. There is a decision that they need to make, and we may question it right now because they lost the game, but I think Manoj Bhandage at that point of time did make a bit of sense because they needed runs and that man can play a very good finisher's role. So I think that's why they backed him. They wanted more runs. They perhaps would have been happier if they would have ended up with 110, 120. But it was clearly evident that Tim David lacked support, and that the fact that he scored 50 runs and took his team to 95 was itself a very Herculean effort that he successfully took.
Otherwise, 49 was on trouble, I must tell you, in terms of RCB score. Okay, fair enough. According to it, was a below par total. But RCB played 7 games, played 3 home games. So in the remaining 7 games, they have 4 home games. I don't know whether that's good news for RCB or bad news. Fair enough. We focus back on this game. It's an afternoon game today afternoon. GT versus DC. Putting you into the hot seat now, Orko. Let's take a look into the predictions. Afternoon game, Gujarat Titans versus Delhi Capitals. Top of the table clash. It's going to be a close one, I must tell you. Your percentage for this game?
Very close one. I mean, these are two teams that are on the top of the table. You can't really, decide that this team will surely win or give them a very high percentage chance. Maybe 53-47 in favor of Delhi, purely because of, recency bias. They have played games a little more recently and they have won big moments, taken the game out of nowhere to the super over and won it from there. They have a bit of momentum riding on them. Gujarat coming from a loss, but of course a 1 week break, which they would have certainly needed to refresh themselves. But again, playing at home, you can't write them off that easily. But I still believe that because of more recency in terms of performances, I would perhaps take Delhi having a greater chance than Gujarat in this game.
Okay, Delhi Capitals 53-47, just by the barest of margins for the visitors. But Gujarat Titans slowly and steadily are making Narendra Modi Stadium their fortress, expecting a very close encounter as per Orko, and according to me as well. Thanks a lot, Orko. Thank you to all the viewers for watching this live stream as well. Stay back because after a few while, we'll be back for the evening games preview as well in the live stream as well. Don't forget to subscribe to Fifth Umpire. Press the bell icon as well in order to get notified as well. Thank you so much and bye bye.